Welcome to your channel Rayofhope, and this is going to be another video for our XXE attack, or you can say XML Entity Injection attack, right? Okay, so we already talked about the details in our previous video, right? If you want to watch this, go ahead and watch our previous video, right? In this video, we are going to talk about LFI via XML Entity or External Entity Injection attack. Okay, so even before we talk about LFI, what exactly LFI means? LFI stands for local file inclusion, right? And over here, we will be performing LFI via XML, and that occurs when an attacker tricks a web application into exposing file servers by exploiting weakness in how XML data is processed via external entity. Means if B configuration or external entity is using and they are not configured properly, that can help us to achieve our LFI motto, right? So when we talk about XXE, we already talked about it, but still, when we talk about XML entity, external entity injection is a type of security vulnerability in web application that process XML input. That application has to use XML data to process the data or process the data. Then an attacker can trick the application into processing malicious XML content, right? So how exactly XML works? You can watch our previous video. Now, over here, how we can achieve LFI through XML. Suppose one application allows refreshing external files using system identifier. We know that, right? System identifier and the public, right? A URL or a file path. That could be two ways. And if the server XML parsers is set to automatically process these external entities, and many are by default actually, most of the time, the attacker can send a malicious XML request. So if they are parsing data automatically or the external entities, that means they are not validating, and that can lead to LFI. And then if they are not validating or automatically they are processing, then XML data will tell the server to read a specific files like etc password and include its content in the response. Okay, so if you look over here, how exactly this is working? Suppose this is your request actually, right? This is the doc type, which is root, and external data entity actually, it's system file colon / it is / password. And then root, we are defining the XXE over here with the root, right? And then in response, as it is like a parsing automatically, we got the response over here with the details or content which that file has, right? Okay. So when we talk about this, if this is happening, why this is happening and how we can mitigate it. In a developer written background, what exactly is happening that is leading it to happen and how we can stop it. So for that, we would have another way. That how to mitigate it. Definitely we will be talking about in real-time scenario and how we can identify it. Just understand over here what is happening in this code. This is a vulnerable code. This is a vulnerable code, right? Where there, if you look at, then we are using et form string, right? So what actually this function is doing actually, this function is processing XML string, right? However, that elementary library is by default, right? And that allow processing of external entities, making it vulnerable for XXE attack because they are not like a validating. They are automatically processing it, right? And in the response, we are getting the content that the file has, right? That this file has. But if we talk about, just a moment. If we talk about if they have a secure code practice that they have implemented over here, if you look at that they have used diffused XML library, right? And this library is designed to secretly or securely parse the data, right? And that prevent the XXE. And it also disable as it is a secure. And it is a secure, right? And this parcel the data securely, it disable the XXE attack, right? And it also disable external entities. It also over here you can see, right? Root XXE we are using, but over here we are not using any external entity, right? Because it disabled the external entities. Again, just focus over here. They are using et form string, right? That is allowing external entities, which is malicious, that parses the data automatically. Over here, we are using diffuse.xml library, which is a secure library, right? This which is restricting or preventing the usage of external entities. Therefore, instead of exposing file content, the parses as is the error over here, right? Instead, like over here, we got the the content which we had over here in this file or this web path, they show over here. But in this case, instead of showing the content that file has, this throw an error, right? And if the attacker attempt to exploit the vulnerability, they will fail and they will get the response like entity resolution is disallowed. You got it? Still, you not need to watch this again and again if you are confused, right? In the meantime, let's go ahead and do a practical, right? So for that, what I'm gonna do, like I have this lab, right? So I just click over here, view details, right? And see what will happen. My proxy must be off. Yeah, it is off only. Just a moment. Okay, it seems the timeout is happened. Let me access the lab again. Close it. It could be my internet must be slow, right? So pay your attention. Okay, so we got it. Wait for a while. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, just view one of the details or product, right? We got the product. So now if you check over here, we have a check functionality, right? If we check it, how many stocks do we have? 238 stock of this product we have. So what I'm gonna do right now, I just need to check it, right? So if I check it, I may get some response. YouTube, this is not, this is also not, this is also not. Okay, this is the request, looks like the same, right? Stock check. So what we're gonna do right now, send it to the repeater. Again, if we send it over here, it will like we have to use this request again and again. For that, we're gonna use repeater, right? If I send the data over here, what will happen? It's 200. Okay, can you see the response? 238. It is the same as over here, right? So now we have seen that the product ID is 2 and the store ID. So what if I'm gonna do like just wanted to see the response, right? Error. What is it showing in error? So if I do like this, right? Okay, it's a bad request, right? And you can see it's throw an error, right? It's throw an error, which means whatever we are putting in, it is getting into a database as well. I mean server side, because we use single column and we are also getting that, right? That means somehow they are parsing our data. So what if the uses, we can see first the content type of the application is XML, right? XML. And we have seen something over here. The XML version is 1.0, encoding and all those things, right? So what if we go ahead and we have this payload? We already talked about it. Whatever it is the normal doc type, which is a variable, and the external entity is Rayofhope. Over here, the external entity is Rayofhope, and this is the file path, right? So what we are going to do, that system, we are going to fetch the content which is there on this file path, right? So if we copy this, right, and instead of using this 2, what if just be stock check, right, and we provided the, and then we keep like this, what response we can get? Oh, the XML parser decided with either the XA parser expectation line number 1, code number 3, the markup line indicates content pointed by the document declaration must be built from. Means if we have to also use the product ID, right? Like over here, if we go ahead and use, just a moment, Rayofhope. Okay, so what we are doing right now, we just use XML. If we want to XML, if you want to refer variable, you can use like Rayofhope, right? So over here, this is the external entity and the variable is Rayofhope, and we want to refer this, right? So what we have done over here, we have used like ampersand, which is this, and the content, I mean variable, and closed it, right? So once we did it, we are referring this answer to this, I mean this payload that we have used, external entity, with the reference of this. So earlier, now we are using external entities over here that will relate with this, and if it is matches, we will get the output. Okay, so we are getting an error. Why? Just a moment. it is always required to perform a hit and trial method, right? Okay, so we can see we got the error, right? So what we can do, we have to make a references, right, of the parser. So what we're gonna use right now, again, ray of hope, right, and curly braces. So now let's see what the response we are getting. Just a moment. Yeah, see, we got it. If we take it as a way of off, okay, so just a moment. System file doc entity and file defense of this, and then let's go. Yeah, cool. So now if you look at over here, they are throwing error for sure, right? It is not that we are not getting error. You might have seen a vulnerability. Sometimes you got the response, a sensitive info in error, right? So over here, what we have done earlier when we requested the application, it was giving us 200 okay, right? And it was using the XML data, right? And then what we done is over here in external entity, right? We provided a single colon to see if it is getting executed or not. And in response, we got it that it is getting on server side, and we got the error. Then we provided this URL, this payload actually, right? That didn't get executed, but again we were getting the XML error, right? So what we done again with the reference of this Rayofhope, which is external entity, right? We made this, right? We made a Rayofhope, and then we executed this again, and in response, it is a 400 bad request. But instead of that invalid product ID or anything, we got the details of the content that this file has, right? So this is how LFI can be performed using XML attack, right? So if you'd have any questions, feel free to ask me. I would be happy to help you. Thank you for watching. Thank you.